you. Talking to Isaac. I was talking to Isaac about scrap. We live. We're live. Here we go. We got no one's watching yet. Here we go. I'm Andy Weins. He's Casey Bubba Lawrence, and this, my friends, is the Trash Talk Business Podcast, your weekly rendition of all things awesome. We're going to talk about business. That's what we do. Casey is down there in the great state of Texas, the old Big D or Fort Worth. Also, it shows that everywhere is not working streaming-wise, except for one place. We're live on LinkedIn. Good job, LinkedIn. Facebook and YouTube. YouTube and LinkedIn, we're live. Facebook's not playing well today. Anyways, Facebook has a tendency to not play well. Oh, my God, the Trumpinator. I love it. Did you know the National Bobblehead Museum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? No big deal. I've never actually been. It's I was within a few blocks of it this weekend, and I've had no desire. I've driven by it. I know exactly where it is. It's probably free, and I've never gone. Anyhow, so this week you and I are jamming. I took a personality test yesterday. So I took
What was it called? Which one?
16 personalities. Turns out I'm fucking awesome. No big deal. So we may cover that. Also, might cover 2 more packs of cards.
Okay. You know,
because maybe it'll be more trading than last time. You did text me?
I text you and Taylor this, and I want to go live here. I want to do it live because I find it very interesting.
Let's do it.
But so, as you know, the Dallas Junk Removal Summit, hosted by Ricardo Hernandez, was this past week.
I know that guy personally. I met him before.
Yeah. And, I didn't get to make it. My kids were on spring break, and plus I just had some stuff to do, man.
Okay.
But I will say, I think there's about 20, maybe 20 people showed up or more, something like that. But, my gosh, I want to say it was Saturday night. I see a notification on Facebook. Hey, you were tagged. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I check it out. And
are you talking about that? Ricardo, are you talking about that argument between him and Russ Berry? That was my Sunday morning shitter read. Sunday morning, there I am. I'm taking a shit Sunday morning.
Yes.
Minding my own business to listen to Russ Berry and Ricardo argue.
Go at it, man.
Russ Berry, friend of the show.
It was awesome.
I actually talked to. Here's the deal. I talked to Carolyn about this.
So it enlightened me.
Actually, we have a whole. We can actually. I want to hear about your enlightenment because this might be in line with the enlightening moment I had in my life.
So it enlightened me.
We might not get to the.
I obviously
the bottom of the hour.
Yeah. So as you know, it was a very entertaining post and comment section.
Oh yeah, that was my.
Obviously, I'm like popcorn.
Yeah. My leg fell asleep on the shitter that morning, and it's a padded shitter too. So you knew I was committed to that.
You knew it was good.
I mean, I watched my standard YouTube videos too. I wasn't,
Well, the enlightenment was, I think we should have Ricardo on the podcast.
Oh, I went completely different. Hold on. I went a completely different direction. That's fine. Not opposed,
even
right?
Furthermore, I'd like to have Russ and Ricardo
on the podcast.
At the
Jerry. I would
keep it civil.
That's fine. That's fine. You know what?
All right, now your side.
No. We are the advocates for the industry. This is what we do, right? We promote this industry. I love this industry. I went a completely different angle, right? Because I'm a non-personal person, people, right? I'm an operations guy, right? You're a sales guy. You're like, how do I profit from these guys fighting? Which I appreciate that about you. Speaking of Sally Crew, the unofficial sponsor of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, Sally Crew. Get your
Salty Crew.
Salty. What did I say? Sally? What did I say? Sally?
Yeah, you said Sally. It was weird.
Salty Crew. Get your octopus and other seafood.
Find refuge in the sea.
What is that even? Is that just a random hat?
It's a hat that I bought at Buc-ee's.
Oh, no, can't go wrong. Oh, yes, the Buc-ee's sign in Wisconsin, southern Wisconsin, 469 miles. I was going to take a picture of it when I was driving Saturday. I did not because I was being safe. You're welcome, America. All right, so let's talk about this.
GoPro wants it to go down.
Grant, let's go. Let's go, GoPro. I'm good with that. Here's the deal. We are coming up on Q2, which means we got to get Andy Barton in line.
Oh man,
I'm good with having Russ Berry quarterly. Jason Waltz is another good guest to have quarterly. So shout out to those three guys. Let's get those. So, anyways, so I'm good with having Ricardo on the episode. I don't give a shit. You know, the Sonoma Hauling guys had me on their show a couple 6 months, 8 months, a year ago, whatever it was. Right? It's important that we build this industry together and share best practices. You know, Jedi Junk Removal had him on, and we had talked about the California meetup. So you went the direction of let's get Russ, or let's get Ricardo on the show, and then let's get Russ on the show, and let's have the piston match in real time, which would make for entertainment.
But also, but here's the premise. It's because the one thing you and I decided to do with this podcast is to not choose one way or another to do junk removal. But the one thing that we have not done is to make sure we bring all views present and say, hey, look, we technically don't know all the answers to him or him. So if he has if he's like, hey, look, this is how I do business and it works for me, it's easy for us to sit back here and say, how the fuck do you do that? Well, let's learn that, because as we all know, Ricardo makes videos, and he also has these videos that, hey, want to make $1,000 in a day by doing 23, jobs. Well, that doesn't sound right at all, but yet it works for him. So I want to know more about it.
That's fine.
Like, I want to know how do you become successful on a $40 full trailer? You know what I mean?
I met Ricardo. I met Ricardo with you at JunkCon. Right?
He's local to me. He's in Dallas.
Yeah, hashtag JRA and Junk Doctors. Right? Here's the other thing. I have no problem whatsoever giving credit where credit is due within this industry. Right? Yes. We know who the players are for the most part. Hell, there's people in this industry I've never met before. I would love to meet, because worst case scenario is they're a turd and I learn nothing. Best case scenario is I learn a whole bunch of stuff and get an ally. The Andy Bartons of the world. I use Andy Barton as a prime example because him and I, since day one, it's like there's shit him and I don't agree on because our markets are different and because we have a different approach to life. And yet I absolutely can appreciate him and his wife. I have no idea what her name is. Escapes me at this moment. And his angle on marketing. So yeah, let's bring Ricardo on the show. Our purpose is different. So anyhow, so you went the angle of let's have, celebrity death match, which I'm pretty sure wasn't Trump on Celebrity Death Match?
He was. And he won.
Pre-elected Trump. I mean, this is 1990s claymation MTV.
Yeah.
Trump. Anyways,
before he was racist. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don he didn't become racist until he ran for president, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he's racist."
No, well, this isn't a political show, so let's keep it.
I know.
No big deal. Let's go, Brandon. So my angle was the complete opposite. My angle was there was the California meetup. There was Justin Waltz at his meeting in the mines. Obviously, JRA a year and a half ago did JunkCon. Now Ricardo's doing this. What's interesting here is in the scrap industry, there's very clear ISRI. That's like the clear number one, recycling organization. And in the waste industry, it's the NWRA, National Waste and Recycling Association, right? And they put on Waste Expo, which I'll be speaking at in May. Get your tickets. Not an official sponsor or anything. I have no official affiliation with them other than they're allowing me to speak, and they gave me a fucking cool ass mug last year and a backpack. Actually, the backpack was on point. I used it all the time because last year I was an insider, and so it was part of my responsibility to drum up some ticket sales. And we got a handful of people there: Andy Barton and the crew, and some other junk removal people. Dylan met us down there in New Orleans. We went and got some gator bites. Anyway, so. What we are lacking in the junk removal space is this no shit defined organization that says, hey, this is how we do things in junk removal. And so I'm going to throw it out to our listeners. I'm strongly considering in October, November-ish, putting on a convention here in Milwaukee of sorts. And you and I have been going back and forth about this for a long time. The difference I've seen now that I've gone to conventions is I have the space. I got a 20,000 square foot facility with heat and AC.
So you'd want to do it at your place?
Oh yeah, I would do it. Yeah, so I would do it. There's two ways of doing it, or three ways, I guess. We could do the meetup. If we just did a straight up meetup, hey, people fly in. I'll make arrangements for dinner, and we're gonna hang out, and I'll show you my operation. Yeah. Right? That's the good option. Right. The better option is let's put together a mastermind of sort. Right. Limit maybe 24 seats. 24 seats max. come out and we do a day and a half. We bring in some experts and we really make it about mastermind and we focus on what is needed in the industry. The third option, right, and we do that in-house here at our facility. Third option is we do a no-shit convention. There's a couple hotels nearby. There's one, like a standard Hyatt, right? This is not like rent a fucking warehouse. This is have decent meeting space, and then also utilize the power of the facility because I can set the facility up and we have space to work and do workshops and get dirty and see the scrapping, sorting.
Yeah. I think
the storing and shipping organization opportunities.
That could be a field trip.
Correct.
I mean, think about that. That could be one of two options. It's like, hey, if you're interested in this part of it, we're going to be doing a big tour.
Correct. We can do the tour in addition to or in lieu of. Yeah. That's it. And so I want to hear. And maybe actually, as I'm saying this out loud, Taylor, put together a survey. I do want to survey our listeners because I want to see what they want. I love, I want to get to, I want to meet people, right? What's in it for me? Let's look at what's in it for me, Andy. The opportunity to spread my influence within the industry, the opportunity to meet the Grant Groveros of the world in real life, right? The opportunity to learn from other people what they're doing best. This isn't like, hey, here's Andy's best way of doing shit and only listen to me and let me sell you some shit, right? I don't sell anything. The Trash Talk Business Podcast is for free, right? There's a possibility we get some sponsors that want to come out and have a table and fucking pitch you shit. I'm good with that because that's, the more money sponsors put into it, the less money it costs for the end user. So there's absolutely an advantage to going that route. At the end of the day, I'm not looking to sell you stuff, right? I know why JRA did theirs. It was an appreciation for their current customers and an opportunity for them to get more customers, and good on them. Like that was the angle, right? Awesome. My angle will only be to enhance the junk roll industry. My overall goal is to have a positive influence on the industry in which we are more environmentally responsible. And I come from a unique perspective because I come from the background for the waste industry, the construction industry, and the scrapping and recycling industry, which the triangulation of that is get you to really, really smart on junk removal. Like you came from construction, you understood and learned demo, but you didn't know shit about the waste industry or the scrap industry. So bringing those elements, how do we play a role in those elements? Or other guys that come from the waste industry or guys that were scrappers that don't understand construction. For
me, I don't think
is key.
I'd like to be behind. I'd like to be behind the scenes guy, put you on the stage. We'll do a Q&A for Andy Weins. But the other thing is, think about these three options. Number one option, like you were talking about, actually number one and number two could possibly be done by this October. The third option, though, you need at least 12 months to put that together.
Convention would be like in April. Oh, absolutely. You're right. For me to throw together a meetup, I need 30 days. Not even. It's like, hey, get a book of hotel rooms. And
that's
say,
easy.
Hey, guys.
It happened already twice.
Correct. The difference is make it worth the flight, right? Do a Friday afternoon, evening, get to know each other, dinner, no formal program. Saturday morning, we hit the ground hard. We go hard on Saturday. Saturday night, we have, an activity plan. Sunday morning, final workshops, fly out Sunday afternoon, right? The reason I'm looking at
do it by
what's that?
You can even go learn from the old people and maybe have everybody go on a job with you.
Oh my God. Actually, you know what? You want to learn we used to do that. No, so I've trained over 300 people here.
Biggest, oh man.
Oh yeah. Did you ever bank jobs with our team? I think you did, right? First time you came.
I did it just because I was there.
Yeah. You were bank jobs. Yeah. All right, Grant Grovero. Thank you, Grant. So yes, the target audience is independent owner operators.
Oh,
so this
depends on the event. If it's a meetup versus convention, I think it's different.
Right. Let's target the middle audience. Not like hang out Friday night or Saturday night meetup, right? Like what Jedi Junk Removal did. I love what he was doing, but he had a clear intention. He's selling a software platform. Let's throw a party, right? My ideal situation would be the mastermind meetup, right? Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we get together, get to know each other. Saturday, we put the fucking work in. Saturday night, another team building, or not really team building activity, but exercise. And then Sunday morning, a little more meaningful learning occurring, like 6 to 8, 90-minute to 2-hour blocks of instructions by experts, right? I'd bring in one or two other experts. I'd bring in like a Russ Berry on scaling, right? Russ Berry would be great to come in for talking about second locations, right? Because he launched Florida, and hey, what did he learn? He put some really good posts and really good content out there What did he learn between the two? I'd bring in Andy Barton to do marketing. I'd have you do sales. I would do operations and warehousing operations, right? Maybe you bring in Justin Waltz to do, strategic vision of the junk removal industry. I mean, that would be like, hey, who's your dream team? Like, that's it. That's the team. All right. To answer Grant's question, this is so a couple things. It would be if you are a truck in a truck, if you are a solo operator, you obviously you're invited to come. The challenge.
Well, you learn by association at that point.
Right. That is you have to be able to survive the weekend, pay for the weekend, and survive the weekend without you being in your business, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the guys that are trucking the truck, they're not there mentally. So I don't want you to spend $2,500, $5,000, whatever it ends up being for this weekend to come back and say, well, fuck you, I didn't get the value out of it, right? So you got to be willing to invest. Now, if you're young and hungry, absolutely. And yes, I would say 4 to 5 truck operations. Absolutely. 4 to 5 crews. Because I guarantee you're not running operations the way I run them. You might be running them different and you might be running them better. And I want to hear from you. And when it comes to scrapping and sorting and shipping material, there's nobody else I know in the country that does as much as we do to reclaim material out of jobs. Right? There's people that resale shop, right? So they'll sell a bunch, but they don't scrap the way we do, or the way we don't recycle the way that we do. Casey, you were up there. I'm not saying there isn't anybody. There might be someone that fucking blows my dick off when it comes to recycling. Like when we're down in New Orleans, we went to who are those cats that do that glass recycling in New Orleans? I went there.
Oh, the glass. Oh,
yeah. I read an article on them, and I was all about it. And then when I was down in New Orleans for the
it's so niche that like you'd have to get the.
No, I'm trying to remember it. Glass half full, or NOLA. There it is, glass half full. I read an article on them, and then I watched a video on them, and I was so fucking excited about it. When I was in New Orleans for the e-waste, the electronics recycling convention, I went over their facility and looked at it. And then when I was in Waste Expo, they actually had tours to go over there, right? And it's like, it all made sense to me, and I thought it was awesome. But anyways, and then we went and got fried bologna sandwiches afterwards, which fit because when in Rome. 4 to 5 truck operations, there is absolutely things that you can learn. So the target market is 1 to 6 crews, single to 2 locations, non-franchise. That is right. I'd say minimum $250,000, 2 years in business, maximum, $2 million, $3 million. I'd say maybe 2.5 to 3 million, 2 locations, right? If you're coming in with 10 fucking franchise locations, you can learn something.
Well, I wouldn't even say no. I wouldn't even say non-franchise, and here's why. I don't want franchises. I don't want franchises because what I don't want is for someone to come in and be like, oh, well, we can't do all these things. Our franchise doesn't allow us. And it's like, well, fuck you. Yeah, that's true. But the other thing is, you look at, I don't know what that dude's doing up north by you. Is that a franchise now too? What's that? The military vets hauling junk or something?
That ain't by me. Yeah, vets hauling junk.
No, it's near you.
No, that's
like Chicago or I don't know.
I know. I only know of that cat.
Yeah, because I thought he was impeding on your area.
If he is, that's news to me.
No, a long time ago, back in the J word days.
Oh no, those fucks are gone and on the market. Yeah, vets hauling junk. No, I thought they were. They're Midwest, but I don't know that they're in. I got no. That's funny. So
I'll tell you this, Grant. So
when I typed it in, one of the things that popped up was J-Dog. It's actually my location. I know it is because it's got 382 reviews, and I left it with like 379. It says temporary closed. It's been temporary closed for 6 months, and it's Vets Haul Junk. Those cats. Those guys are renting. Those guys are selling franchises. I don't know shit about them. Let me look up. Here we go. Locations. Virginia and North Carolina. That's it. That ain't even close to me, Jack. No, those guys. You're thinking of GI Junk. Those guys are up in Pennsylvania, and then there's Vets Easy Trash. That guy's down in North Carolina. Yeah. Anyways, now I'm just rattling off random junk removal businesses I know. Yeah. No, Why do you ask? Why did we start going down this line of questioning?
Oh, just because I know he had it set up. It was like a franchise, but it was kind of different. It was almost, left up to the owner on how they do certain things. You're kind of paying. In his case, you're paying for something that doesn't exist. You're paying for the name, and it's like, well, the name's not Walmart, so you're not really paying for much.
So it's like a license. So it's like a licensing agreement.
It's almost like a licensing agreement. They have
but you can have like the operations.
They have the COPs together and stuff like that. But like
COPs,
that's kind of it.
COPs.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
COP.
I just went blank. SOPs.
SOP is like, all right. See, this is why we ask. This is why I ask questions of acronyms. Someone said an acronym the other day, like with real confidence. I was like, "What is that?" And they're like, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh, well, if you don't know, I don't fucking know." I was on Thursday. One of the things I do is we have our 3 pillars here at Camo Crew: environment, education, and empowerment. And part of our education one is I volunteer at certain schools, normally the high school or college level, and I was volunteering at a high school to be a judge as part of a pitch competition. And they kept referring to this place called the Mutt, the MUT, and it was all capitalized. I was like, "What is the Mutt?" They're like, "I don't know. That's just what they call this room." I was like, "Cool. Is it an acronym? Is it short for something? What is the MUT?" And they didn't know. And what's funny is I was very unhappy. I was very upset that they kept using an acronym that I didn't know what it was for. Yeah, because
I ran into that with a TV show. That in the TV show, the people that don't do anything, that get kind of brought with them as the game goes on, they're called goats. But I'm used to the word goat meaning like greatest of all time.
So what goats? What TV show? What are you talking about? Like they bring
Survivor.
the people
that don't really do anything. They just
they survive the episode because they didn't they'll never win, but yet they can make it towards the end by being a big fucking nothing burger.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Hey, how'd you get here? Well, I didn't get too much attention to myself, but also didn't do anything good.
Yeah. What is it you do here?
But they call that a goat, and I'm like,
I didn't know that.
I use goat in a different term.
Whenever I think of goat, I think of Earl Manigault Goat. Earl the Goat Manigault, who was a basketball player, I want to say in the late 70s, early 80s in New York. There's an HBO original movie called Rebound. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Don Cheadle from Ocean's 11 and what else? Iron Man 2, whatever. Love you too. I don't know if she heard me. Casey's talking to his wife, so she said love you, and then I said love you, and now they're muted, so we never know what they're thinking. Anyways, Don Cheadle, the movie Rebound, an HBO original, phenomenal movie. I'm going to look that up now. Yeah, I'm plugging everybody today. Everyone's getting fucking plugs today. This is a very unknown movie. Rebound movie.
My wife
Rebound.
Just kissed me. She's about to get plugged too. Hey.
Oh my God. This is why we can't have nice things. Okay. Also, not.
Oh, you know what it means.
All right. Hold on. Also, not.
Come here and I'll show you.
What is this? This is a kid's show. This is a kid's show.
We say fucking shit all the time on this. This is a fucking kid's show, guys.
Anyways, Rebound, the Legend of Earl the Goat Manigault, 1996 sports thriller movie, not to be confused with the movie Rebound, starring Martin Short in 2005, which it is a comedy sports movie with a bunch of fucking kids from the goddamn Disney Channel. So Earl the Goat Manigault. Anyways, now that we I don't even know how we got on that. James Earl Jones is also in it, and Forrest Whitaker. Basically, if you were awesome, in the mid 90s, you were in this movie. Who else? Anyways, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also in the movie. He plays himself at the end. Basically, talks about the goat. All right, target audience, got that. Taylor put up a thing with Nice Job. As of last week, I'm an official brand ambassador with Nice Job. You go to nicejob.com, type in Andy60. You get 60% off for 3 months of Nice Job. As you guys know, I love Nice Job. It integrates with Jobber, who also loves me, and I love them. Jobber is coming out tomorrow to our facility. We're going to be shooting some commercials to talk about the importance of marketing and reviews with Jobber. Nice Job, Jobber. They come together. They mesh well. We get the reviews. which drives customer retention, also drives customer referrals, because right within Nice Job, people can refer you. All the things. You want to grow and scale your business, get Jobber, and then get yourself some Nice Job to go with it. And Nice Job plays nice, because that's what they do, with other apps. So whatever you're on, get yourself some Nice Job. There we go. There's the plug. We did the work. We paid the bills. All right. I still have these packs of cards I want to open. What else did you want to get to? So convention, Taylor's got his due out. Got to put a survey out. The reason I want to do it October, November is because that's when people have money in their pockets. It is that simple, right? Like when you have a good week in like July or August, you're like, shit, yeah, we can afford this, and you pay for it, and then you do it. Versus, hey, let's have a convention in February, and people are like, shit, how am I going to survive March? So,
well, and plus you don't want to be the person that's there, not able to. Not even that. You don't want to be there and spread yourself too thin because maybe you're too nervous to look like you didn't have a good budget for the trip, right? I don't know what that looks like, but
my hillbilly math says the cost about $2,500, right? Which by the time you factor in airfare and hotel, you're looking at a $4,000 weekend. Like, are you willing?
Yeah.
Put that type of money up, and maybe less. Maybe it's $2,500 all in if we get some hotels in there, right? That'll come with a couple meals, and right, and yet it's like, are you willing to put the money up? I know when I was first in business, I was like, I don't want to spend $500 on this thing, and now there's times where I'm like, if I don't spend $5,000 on this thing, I'm not going to grow as a business owner. And so, what does that value to me look like, and what does that value to the people? That's why, like Grant's question, hey, if you're a one truck operation and you're willing to bet on yourself, come, right? Hang out, right? Change your circle. Hang out with the people that are where you want to get to. And yeah, don't be that guy that has, $3,000. You spend $2,500 of it on a weekend that you think is going to give you all the fucking answers. Because at the end of the day, you got to put the work in, right? At the end of the day, you got to put the work in. That goes without, right? That goes with everything in life. All right, I'm going to get to these cards. I'm chomping at the bit. I've been waiting a month to open these. And last week it was so disappointing, these cards. Now we're going to open these. If you were here last week, I'll recap it. We did a job. We got 4 brand new packs of 1993 90-floor Fleer Ultra basketball cards, which back in the day, I love collecting basketball cards. Come on. There it is. Oh, got it, kind of, or whatever. Anyways, the challenge with 93, 94, not too many great rookies that year. My cousin Matt used to love collecting rookie cards. And I like to go with the knowns. I like to go with what knows to work, right? Pippen, Jordan, give me the goods, right? So anyway, here we go.
While you're doing that, I brought something I wanted to share with our listeners, whoever the fuck's listening.
That's it. Do you want me to say it, or are you going to share?
I was going to pull it up, and it's actually a note, right?
Oh. So do you want to talk right now, or do you want me to do the talking?
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to be looking at cards?
I got to tell people who I got. Anthony Bonner. We're going to do this quick because James Robertson.
I know that guy.
James Robertson, Trailblazers. Who do we also got? Pete Myers, Chicago Bull. Never heard of him. Greg Drelling. That can't be right. Big white guy. Jesus. Jude Busher. Actually, was that his rookie card? Because Jude ended up going to 92, 93 was rookie. Jude ended up going to the Bulls. He ended up playing. Him and Jordan got into it when Jordan came back. And there's a good story about that. So Jude back on the Golden State Warrior days. Chris Mills, no idea. Oh, this one looks decent. The other thing is I keep getting these Rebound King ones. Yep, here it is. Inside Out, Patrick Ewing. I don't even know what Inside Out means. All I know, obviously I know how the game's played. I will say they do have the smell. Jeff Grayer, no idea who that is. I like this. The USA card I got was Don Nelson and Don Chanley, the coaches. That's who I got for the USA card, along with Steve Smith, who is a perennial all-star and not I got put in front of my face.
Okay.
I do not believe Hall of Famer. Rex Chapman for the Bullets. Rex Chapman put up like 60, I want to say. Put up 60 when he was working. Jesus, working for the Suns. I gotta Google this. Rex Chapman puts up, I think it was like 53 points he put up one time. Rex
47
Chapman
was his highest of all time.
Are you sure? You just Google that faster than I could. 39 points. That was it. Ugh. All right. I want to say he did better than that.
You're way off. You're almost double.
It's not even close. 39 points. He did it twice. What was the most? Yeah, Jordan scored 69. He also scored 63. I thought Rex Chapman did better than that. All right. Well, he gets more credit. Robert Pack. Never heard of him. Sean Elliott, and Isaiah Ryder. Isaiah Ryder, this might be. Oh, this is a rookie card. We got a little. There we go. Yeah, we got an Isaiah Ryder rookie. He was solid player, not an all-star by any means. A couple Pro Bowls, a couple all-star games. All right, now that we got through that, I have one pack of cards left. Very disappointing pack. What do you have, Casey? You are chomping at the bit. I can hear you over there, chomping.
So one of my, I guess, mentors, as well as future business partner, he's a doctor, and he heads up over 6, I think, hospitals in the Dallas area. But he also has a company that manages over $1 billion in assets. It's insane. And he texted me one day. He goes, "Hey, I sent this to a guy one time that I served with who reached out asking questions about real estate and how to make money, blah, blah, blah. So I thought I'd send this to you because I think this would really resonate with someone like you." So I said, cool. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long. But he named it 13 Simple Concepts to Get Rich as I'm sitting here at a bar watching college football.
Okay.
Right. Number one, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to read all of it, but number one was forget saving your way to wealth, right? That's like walking from LA to New York. It can be done, but you might be 65 by the time you get there, right? It's all about the vehicle. That better vehicle is owning your own business. Whatever you do, make sure you own a business. If necessary, wrap a business around your career. So a lot of you out there that are 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out with junk removal, this is something to just think about, right? If you mow lawns for a living, buy 100 mowers and hire 100 employees. If you're a barber, buy 5 shops with 5 chairs each and lease them out.
Yep.
And if you're an engineer, make contacts in your business and then start your own firm. So he goes on and he's like, look, school is irrelevant when it comes to getting rich, right? And he actually has 5 degrees. He says, I should know I have 5 degrees. They're all garbage for wealth creation. Now, having said that, he said, look, when it comes, so he was talking about like savings accounts and investment accounts, but then he goes into my favorite part is getting rich won't happen overnight, nor will it take 30 years. If you have the right ideas and work hard and think in terms of 3 to 7 years, this amount of time will pass by anyway. Might as well make a balls ton of cash while it's doing that. There's good debt and bad debt. This is the key right here. Good debt is business loans, inventory loans, loans on commercial buildings. Bad debt is for expensive cars you can't afford, vacations on credit cards, store cards for bags and shoes. Try to get hundreds of millions of dollars into good debt. The anecdote is bankers will call you sir or ma'am if you have $1 million in the bank or if you owe $1 million to the bank. Both are equally valuable to them. And then the biggest one I want to stress on for the junk removal community, which we just talked about, it's a great tee up. If you want juicy steaks, join a barbecue class or a club. You'll have excellent steaks in no time. If you want to be a millionaire, join a small business club or a real estate club to talk to and partner with other millionaires. You'll be worth millions within a few years just by association. It really is that simple.
Yeah.
Now, he goes on to talk about don't waste your time cutting back on smaller expenses, that's what him and I really agree on. Yep. Netflix, buying cheaper food, couponing, hunting big sales, blah, blah, blah. Although that may be moves, it's so minute that it doesn't keep up with the expense of life, right? Yep. What you're saving, you're spending in other places that you really don't need to be spending anyways. So it's a lot easier to earn 10 times the national average than spend 10 times less than the national average. And I was like, holy shit, that's great. Oh, yeah. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, when you have more money to work with, right? This earlier this year, we increased all of our prices, and right because we wanted to move the net up. It's like, all right, do we want to increase our prices 2% or try to cut 2% expenses? Now we increased our prices more than 2%, and now we're seeing the benefit of that because we have 1,000 reviews and really strong brand. Why wouldn't we get paid?
You have ammo there. And that's the thing is,
we've earned that right.
The biggest
truck, 10 days in the fucking business has not earned that right.
Yeah. So a lot of our listeners out there that are, hey, Grant, I don't know your situation, but I'll tell you this right now. If you know someone, or maybe you're in this situation, but if you are not 100% in your business right now, one thing to think about that I've been thinking about for the past year actually is purchasing a pre-existing business. Because right here, and this is what he says, this guy is a multimillionaire, very successful guy. I take his advice as much as I could get every time we talk. But he said, look, consider buying, this is just an example, consider buying a small chain of flower shops from the old lady who wants to retire, or the cargo trailer manufacturing company that needs new energy to make it thrive. Whether it's real estate or small business, use loans, investors, employees, and new team members to increase returns, reduce risk, and successfully leverage money and time for everybody's benefit. Andy and I have talked about leveraging money and time. Find all these things at a local networking meetup. There's dozens of them in your town. Just search Facebook for them. Network, network, network. My favorite thing he says here is nobody will know that you're actually faking it anyway. And if you are scared to do so, pretend you're not scared to do it. Like that's what he's. If you're scared, you're shy, just pretend you're not. Okay.
So I watched or read this like 2 years ago, and it was in line with you and I talked about this 2 years ago before we started the podcast, and I told this exact advice to someone last week. Older woman, whatever, mid-50s, well-spoken, well-read, and she's like, I don't want to go on to social media and look like a fool. I'm like, well, here's the deal. If it sucks, no one's going to watch it anyways. And she looked at me and got a laugh. She goes, I never thought about that. I go, yeah, if it sucks, no one's going to see it anyways. Like, thankfully, I don't watch our content. All right. If we start watching,
I don't either, dude. Honestly, I was about to ask you when that live version, like when I was up there in Milwaukee, I was like, when did that air? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh no, dude. I would love to actually hear feedback from that episode. I thought because we didn't right now we're getting great instant feedback from people or people dropping us messages. Man, we just fucking went hard that day. I had a fucking blast.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine doing that again and planning it like we should have?
and having someone that can actually move the camera for us. We're like, hey, we have 2 hours before Casey catches a flight. 3 hours later, we're like, probably get going here. Good ass day, Jack. We went fucking. We went hard in the paint that day. Fucking hard. Yeah, I don't have an agenda for life. Fuck that. I thought about
the last thing.
Oh, you got another one?
I'll finish this up.
Send me that in an email. I actually want to read that.
I'm going to.
I Googled it. I Googled that ass.
So the last thing is don't take money advice from the poor or middle class.
Yep.
They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And even if they say it with all the confidence in the world, at the same time, ignore the gurus selling courses, posing with the rented cars and the girls. It's better to find somebody local who isn't selling anything. Rich people will give you all of this information for free. Be kind, respect their time, and add value to their life in any way you can. Sometimes that can simply be enjoying their hobbies with them. Money does not change a person. It just amplifies your character 100 times.
That is correct. That is dead on.
Like
this is why I say do not take advice from people with jobs, right? Because they don't know what it's like to be in the trenches. I thankfully grew up with parents that have owned a business now for 30 years, and they grew up with parents that own businesses. So I know I can go to my parents and talk about business because they know it. We grew up in it. I'm not going to go to my sister who has a job or her husband has a job. They are having job people. They got their fucking degrees and have been working for companies for 20 years. Like, that is not my person I'm going to go talk to. People I went to high school with, right? I associate with almost only entrepreneurs because they're in the hustle. They're in the fight all day, every day. And I love what you said earlier. He's got 5 degrees. A degree doesn't mean shit. When people start saying, well, they have a degree in this, it's like, wow, if that's the only leg they have to stand on, right? And the fact that they bring it up shows their level of ignorance. It's like, what have you done lately?
Here's what a degree will get you. Like he actually tells you. And he told me, he goes, this is what a degree will get you.
Nice thing for the wall.
Right here. Right. Okay. School is irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. It'll help you make $200K instead of $35K. But we'll teach you nothing about making $1 million plus per year.
So here's a prime example. I have a degree, you do not. And here we are together as equals, right? Like, why? Because we went out and did the fucking thing, right? I mean, military, started junk roll companies. I mean, that's about the similarities we have and how we got here today versus the piece of paper. And for me, the piece of paper was a crutch. I told myself because I started, I needed to finish. I told myself I needed the piece of paper to start my business. I imposed those, ceilings on me for no damn reason. Friend of mine is a business broker and very successful. Well, Grant, that's who you need to hang out with. Well, yeah,
yes, I have a friend who's a business broker as well.
Yeah, there's tons of times where you're like, oh yeah, here's this guy that I know or that guy that I know. Like
Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, but because that's who we associate ourselves with. Like, that's it. I went and saw Jordan Peterson last week. It's like, yeah, I could have sat my happy ass at home and watched some fucking Netflix, or I can go to a live show where a philosopher that I look up to is fucking speaking and preaching and teaching and doing all the things I fucking love. That's a choice, right? And when you make those choices, you surround yourself with the people that are going to push you to where you want to go in life.
100%. When you're driving somewhere, okay, so you drive to Chicago every weekend? Oh, I'm losing you. Oh shit. We are losing you, Andy. There you go. I'm getting you back slowly. Okay, well, I'll talk to maybe you can figure it out. But when I have a long drive, I used to put music on. Oh shit. Are we still live? Okay, look. So whenever I have a long drive, I used to put music on, jam out. And then I'll get a phone call and it would mess up my stuff. So then I say, you know what? Maybe I just get on the phone when I have a long drive and I'm just going to talk. I tried to listen to podcasts. I couldn't really get into it because I would have to take a phone call. And Andy's out for now. So I tried to listen to podcasts. I couldn't get through it while I was driving because I felt like I needed to be productive and make phone calls. But what I was realizing is I was too distracted to listen to podcasts because I couldn't retain the information I was getting from the actual shows that I was listening to. So like a week or two ago, I turned my truck on and here comes a podcast just blasting about multitasking, the truth behind multitasking and how it's complete bullshit. And it's not
complete bullshit. Can't multitask.
Right? So I listened to it. And I didn't get on my phone. I just listened to it while I was driving. And I was like, holy shit, I actually attempt to do this all the time. Like, right now, he used a great analogy. Talk on the phone with someone and try to make a cake. When you're mixing and you're talking on the phone, once you get that redundant motion going, your body or your muscle memory takes over. But the second you have to add an ingredient, your mind is too focused on the conversation. So you can skip the ingredient or you can add the wrong amount of that ingredient. And it's because the way your brain is it focuses on one thing at a time, one task at a time. Just because people start multitasking doesn't mean it's a thing. That podcast really hit me. So
you were driving while listening to the podcast though, right? So can you multitask a podcast and driving?
Well, that goes back into muscle memory, right?
See, I love driving and talking on the phone. I have the best conversations when I'm on the phone in the car.
Yeah,
that's when I'm free.
Because I can't. For me, I found I couldn't retain as much information as possible if I was trying to listen to a podcast while I was driving. And if I'm on the phone, I noticed like today I was on the phone with my mom, right? She's about to go on a cruise and shit. And I missed a turn. I mean, I knew where this place was. I didn't need maps or anything, but I missed the turn because I was talking to someone else while I was driving. So it just goes to show that multitasking is a made up word. But the whole point of this was that I try to surround myself with people that I can learn from more than I can teach. I teach what I know and I try to learn what I don't. But as far as like hanging out, going golfing or whatever, I want to do that with people that I can take value from. And then I get to find out, okay, where can I add value to them? And I emailed you and Taylor that 13 ways to wealth text. So Grant, if you'd like to have that, maybe we could shoot that to you. Put your email address on here and we'll get you.
Yeah, shoot an email over to us. We'll set it up. I want to see. We haven't had Grant on the show, but we've talked to Grant. Remember we talked to Grant I don't think we have, right?
I think we had him on the show, didn't we? That's when we first learned. Yeah, we had him on the show because we learned his last name was Govro.
For a full episode?
Venice Junk.
I don't know that we had him on for an episode. Grant, tell us if we had him on for an episode. I thought he just typed out the pronunciation and his name in the chat.
I think he did that too. No, sir, I haven't been on. Okay, well then I mixed you up with someone else.
That's right. Data-driven decisions. AW, put it down as a fucking win right there, baby. Mostly not because I was right, but because I didn't assume. All right, we could have Grant on the show only because he's our most, or not only. I'm sure he's got a lot to add. Because we want him on the show because he's an avid listener, and what I want to know most is for the Grants of the world and the people that listen right religiously. What are your top takeaways? Right? What is it that resonates? Because we come here, and I had someone even earlier today. They're like, "Hey, I was watching one of your shows in your or something. Oh, it was like a 30-minute YouTube video." And he was telling me I said something. I was like, that sounds like something I would say. He's like, you don't remember saying that? I was like, man, I don't remember shit. I really don't. And like, when I, even at the end of our shows, when we do top takeaways, it's like, well, we just spent an hour doing this. What did we, what did we get out of this hour? And I genuinely want to recap it so I can take it forward. Last week I did my top 5 takeaways from Jordan Peterson on my other show on Experience Andy Weins Live. And I wrote down 3 things, and then there was 2 other things I picked up along the way. So that was important to me. All right, here we go. Last set of cards, and then we're going to put this thing to bed because so far it is not the smell. The smell is the only thing that's been nostalgic about this whole thing. Harold Ellis, don't know who that is. Doug Edwards, no idea. Here we go. This is a worthy fucking card right here. Tony, the Croatian sensation, Kukoc. 6th man of the year, 2nd round draft pick, Hall of Famer, Tony Kukoc. Also, 3-time NBA champ with your Chicago Bulls. Terry Dree, don't know this. Larry Kurowski, no idea. Brett Price. Brett Price, what was his brother's name? Mark Price. That's the guy that Jordan schooled in the early 90s. I got another one of these rebound kings. Every one of these cards has a rebound kings or inside out. And we got Sean Kemp. I think there's 2 Sean Kemp cards now I have. 2 Sean Kemps, 8 kids, 7 women. That's what Sean Kemp was known for best. No big deal. Also, those cards typically aren't as worthy as the normal one. Doug, that's the other thing. Brian Williams, that guy died, right? That guy offed himself or died in a boat incident. Is that accurate?
Not sure.
Taylor,
no idea
what that is. Brian Williams, he played for the Nuggets and then eventually played for the Bulls. I may be confusing him. I thought he went out on the boat with like 2 other people and didn't make it back. Ernie Waitley with the Hawks, no idea who that is. Matt Gregor, big white guy, 52 from the Heat. Eddie Johnson, AC Green. AC Green played for the Lakers. Oh, he played for this. I did not know this. He played for the Suns later this year. AC Green, famous for not missing a game. AC Green played like 18 seasons, didn't miss a game. Again, I know my Jungle Wolf facts better than my early 90s basketball. I'm going to look that up. AC Green. Also, he was a virgin. He did not believe in, doing the thing. That was what he was known for. I'm going to type it in. AC Green streak. Was it his streak or was it?
He was murdered at sea.
Brian Williams, right? There we go. AC Green from November 86 until he retired April 21. AC Green played in 1,192 consecutive. That is the longest streak of consecutive games anyone has ever played. And before that, he started playing in, I guess 86. Why does he have a? Shows you games played. That's interesting. He only played 27 games in 96 and 97. Why would he still have the streak? I don't understand if maybe he wasn't on a team. But yeah, he played 79 games in 86, 87. And otherwise, anyways, 1,192 consecutive games. That's what he played. AC Green. And his career, I only knew him as a Laker in the 90s, or the late 80s, early 90s. They played for the Suns, Mavericks, Lakers, Heat. Guy was strong, still playing well into the next decade. Vince Carter, the only player in the NBA to ever play in 4 decades. He played 99 through 2021.
Is it him?
Vince Carter.
Is it him who doesn't have a championship?
A lot of guys don't have a championship. Vince Carter.
No, but I think he's played the longest in the league with all these teams, and I don't think he's ever had a championship win. I want to check that out.
Unless he would have picked up with Miami along the way. Patrick Ewing was one of the best non-championship players. Charles Barkley is known as. Yeah, Vince Carter never won a championship game.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
40 years.
Okay. He didn't play for 40 years. He played in 4 decades. He played 22 years. 99.
Oh, I'm sorry. In
4
22 years, the dude couldn't win one championship.
You know what? He played for the Raptors. He was hammering them. When he was with the Lakers.
Remember how good you almost were? That's the conversations they have.
You have a shit. Dell won a championship with the Bulls in '97. Oh yeah, there he goes. He believed to have been murdered at sea by his older brother Miles in 2022. Thank you. Yeah. That if you see it says Andy Weins said that, Andy Weins did not say that. Andy Weins shot that from the hip. Taylor, the producer, said that on Andy Weins' behalf. See, you need someone for random mid-90s basketball trivia. I'm your fucking guy. I got it. I was obsessed with this shit back in the day. I am your fucking dude. You need pop culture? Fuck, I couldn't tell you. Don't fucking know. I do love playing trivia night. I don't drink anymore, and I don't have many friends, so trivia night's not a thing. Maybe we'll incorporate that into the Midwest meetup of things.
You know what we need to do?
No, I don't.
Because I think I mean, personally, I would be interested in this too. I started putting a business plan together for a business venture that Monica and I are going to be doing soon. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, the one thing I never really mastered, I wouldn't say mastered, but I never really refined was my business plan in demolition or my junk removal business. We had a business plan. We always, adjusted it accordingly. But the one thing that I was very confused on in the beginning was thinking a business plan needed to be a fucking book when a couple pages, you're good to go as long as the information's there.
Yep.
And I think we should do that sometime.
Do what? Sure. Do a business plan for the podcast, or do a business plan. Say, hey, look. Or do a business. So my business plan for junk removal is 60 pages. I wrote it
right, but okay. So a good example of that is yours is 60 pages.
Yeah.
How niche down is that to your business, like specifically, or is it to the junk removal industry?
I've given that to other people back in the day. So I wrote that in. Full preference, right? I wrote this as a capstone paper for college. It wasn't like there was an intentional way. It was a double dip intentions. Hey, I got to write this for college. Yeah. Good. I got like a 96 on it. Did pretty solid. Anyway, so I wrote that business plan for my business. Maybe it was 60 pages with pictures and charts. So it was like 50 pages. Still like the longest thing I ever wrote until I wrote my book. And I gave that plan to other people, and it was so copy and pasteable. You could go in and just change out maybe a page worth of things, and it would apply to you. It was more or less like, this is why it's better to have dumpsters on your property, right? Like, so basically risk aversion. It's better to have dumpsters on your property because the cost per cubic yard and cost per pound is less than going to a transfer station and less than landfill, and the likelihood of you getting nails, blah, blah, blah. Right now, the downside is you got to use truck and trailer and not dump trailers, right? So there was all this stuff. Why did I don't want to share that? Shout out for your book too. Was a great read. Boom. There we go. Words fucking matter. Available on Amazon and AndyWines.com. Retrain your brain to use language that serves you. This book looks a little fucked up because it sits here on my desk and basically is my coaster. My coaster, and as you can see, I bookmark it because earlier today I was going to talk about this on Andy Wines Live, the triple S score, and then I ended up not because we talked about other stuff. So there we go. Shameless plug. As always, thank you, Grant, for the constant support. What is your, Grant, now that we're talking to you in a weird you text, what was your top takeaway from the book that you can see? There we go. So anyways, where I was going somewhere. Okay, so business plan, yes. Relevant. The thing is, I wrote my plan. About a year after I started the business, I looked at it again. And it was about 85 to 90% accurate. And moreover, I never had to look at it again because I qualified and I obtained the information, I qualified it and I documented it. So then I knew it, right? So when employees were like, hey, why don't we do this? I knew the answer. Like reading the business plan is not a required piece for anybody like work here or anything, or even knowing. It was a baseline of thought. I can also tell you when I went to go to the bank and they're like, hey, do you have a business plan? I sent it to them. And the fact it was 60 pages, like that got me a fucking loan. Right? They're like, oh shit, like you thought about
this. So that's like, the thing.
They didn't even like. They read it, and my banker was like, "Yeah." When I saw the document was 60 pages, I already knew it was going to get approved because it showed that you put thought into it. Like that was the key.
But at the same time, that's how you get investors on board. That's how you get like you do. Like, that's how you get business loans. But it's also how you can potentially build your exit. You know, how can you sell? How can you scale it on a large scale? That business plan is very important. Internally, I think the most important part of it internally is it gives you a sense of structure within your own business, because I solely believe if you don't write it down, it's not real.
100%.
It may sound crazy, but
well, so the other thing we use is, so to your point about the one-page plan. So we utilize EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, based on the book Traction, which actually Taylor is going to come in my office right now and go grab the book Traction that I have on my couch over there, because I'm going to show it to you, and I don't want to get up, and I'm not going to get up. It's right over there on the couch. Grab Traction or EOS book, whatever's over there, underneath my backpack. No, yes, or there's one in my backpack. Traction, EOS, something. I carry the book around with me as a reference material.
There's your answer from Grant, by the way.
What is my answer from Grant?
What he got from your book.
See, I tell Taylor it's right underneath. I tell Taylor, I was like, it's right underneath my backpack. He's like, I don't see it.
I'm looking in.
He was looking in. No, it's underneath. It sits on my bookshelf, i.e., my couch. So Traction, over 1 million copies sold. Gino Wickman. I read this book years ago, and I was like, I want this. So EOS, which I utilize, and now I'm going to keep it at my desk so I have a quick reference. We use it's called the one-page plan. So we use VTO, which is like vision, traction, and basically you talk about, here's your mission, here's how you're going to get there, here's your niche, here's your values, here's your go-to-market strategy. And it's a one-page document that anybody in the company can like, oh yeah, this makes sense to us. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then you can fill all the other stuff in after that. All right, Grant, the parts of the book that were described: work ethics, personal history as it relates to business and starting with the end state in mind, just to go off the top of the head. All right, so that is begin with the end state in mind. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That was the book that changed my life to empowerment when I was in college. And I was like, oh, wait, I can be a better person. That was the first self-help book that absolutely slapped. Another 7 Habits, it even says at the end of the book, take 2 or 3 and let those be your guiding light. So for me, begin with the end state in mind and sharpen the saw. Those are the 2 that I've carried with me 15 years now since I read that book. And so, yes, beginning with the end state in mind is the absolute best way to start any endeavor. Right? We talk about that with goal setting and the mountaintop, right? What does the peak look like? And once you get up there, it's never what you thought it was going to be, because you don't fucking know what it is until you get there.
It's also lonely.
It's a fucking lonely road up that mountain. Ain't that be about the truth? All right. Talked about the book. We plugged like 400 businesses, including EOS, Nice Job, and Jobber. We opened a pack of cards. Anything we didn't cover? Anything we gotta put a bow on this thing?
So next week, all right. So my biggest customer consistently, year over year, was a custom home builder, and he said he'd really like to be on the show. So
what does he want to do on the show? Talk.
Well, I think we're going to talk to him. I want to my thing. What I'd like to know from him, I want to know why. Not only did he use us, but why he kept using us and how he used us. Because I've talked about this many times, but I was not the cheapest at all, and I couldn't really compete with the trash companies that were dealing with construction, which is why I was picky and I went straight to custom home builders who built cost plus homes, because their budget was a little thicker. So
thick like
I think it'd be good for, and I think it'd be good for people to understand that. This just goes right into my history with construction, with builders. I learned real quick that production builders are not feasible for my business because they count every nail. I wanted the builder that invested in the quality of his operations by using the best of the best. So
I like it. All right, so that's that. See, you know what we said last week? We need to do a better job teasing our guests in the future. I also have reached out to Xavier Caldera. We'll say Caldera. He looks like a coach, and yet I like his stuff, right? And he's got the secrets of junk removal, right? He might be legit or he might be a piece of shit. And we do not know until we bring him on. I like what he's put in. I had a good conversation with him. And like anybody else, like he's going to be he wants to get in the junk world coaching top secret space. I'm interested in hearing him, right? There's absolutely things that I can learn from people like that. And if others want to hire him, no sweat off my back. I lose nothing out of the deal. So I'm going to have him on in the coming weeks. If there's anybody you can think of, that'd be a great guest for the show. Someone that maybe you want to get access to that you otherwise can't get access to, please let us know. There we go. Xavier's coming on next month. So there we go. Taylor's way ahead of me. Taylor's doing the thing. So in April, teasing out to April, Xavier Caldera, who right now is doing 60 ways to fail in a junk removal business. So every day he puts up a worst advice ever in junk removal. So he's a good dude. Seen him on Facebook. Actually, he might be a terrible dude. I don't know. I like him so far on the internets. I've known him. Casey, top takeaway today.
Top takeaway is, who do you surround yourself with? Are they valuable to your business and your goals, or are you just hanging out with them? What value are you getting from the people you surround yourself with?
You are the closest 5 people you keep. Yeah, I like that. I also takeaway is your choice how you respond to new stimulus, right? So let's look at how we started the show with junk removal guys, Ricardo, right? You and I took the same information and we responded differently. And in both situations, you and I found, hey, what's the opportunity here, right? Yeah. We're not going to sit here and take sides or bitch or moan or complain. No, it was some good shitter material. And now it empowered me to say, okay, I could probably put on a fucking convention. And what does that look like? And you looked at it as, hey, let's get these guys out here and hash it out. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's figure out what the best answer is to it. So that is true of garbage you see on Facebook, as it is in your relationship, as it is in your business, right? When you're given a new stimulus, the thought you use to govern that situation, right? The thought you implant will ultimately lead you to your next action. And what you do is ultimately up to you based off of your thought. So I'm good. You got anything else to add? Or are we going to put a bow on this thing?
Grant, we need to meet you soon. That's what I'm going to add. So I'll make that happen. We'll talk about what we want to do and how we want to do it so we can bring some more value to our listeners.
I like it. All right. He's Casey. I'm Andy. And Grant joining us from the sidelines. It's been another amazing episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. We are looking forward to seeing you next week at 4 p.m. 1600 Central Standard Time. We will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Tap subscribe or follow to get the latest episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a review and tell a friend to listen. To learn more, visit